Hey there guys, welcome back to Mana Down Under. Today I'm doing a modern deck tech, a little bit different, on Black-Blue Modern Mill. I was going to do this for a long time, but Drowning the Loch from Throne of Eldraine is a really good card and pushes Black-Blue Mill a little bit further over the line, so I definitely want to cover a deck on it. So we will cover the deck first, and I'll go through the deck list at the end, so let's jump straight into it. So Drowning the Loch is the card I built this round from Throne of Eldraine. We run a playset, it's a Black-Blue instant, for 2 mana you choose one. Counter target spell seems to equal to or less than the number of cards in its controller's graveyard, and the same is for destroying target creature. To have both options for 2 mana, counterspell or creature removal is really good. It's strong versatility, it's efficient, it's not overpriced, it's an amazing card. Then for the actual meat of the deck, the big mill cards. Glimpse Unthinkable at 2 mana, they just mill 10. Start chunking away that library. Archive Trap, one of my favourite cards for mill. It's a 5 mana, they mill 13, but if they've searched the library this turn, you may just pay 0 instead. Now we do have a combo with it later on, we'll cover that, so we run playset there. We run 2 breaking enterings, mainly for breaking of course, because it's just 2 mana, they mill 8 cards. 8 cards with 2 mana is still a pretty good effort. We run a playset of Hedron crab, probably the cutest crab in Magic. At 1 mana, 0-2 with landfall, they mill 3 cards. He's pretty efficient, he can block 1/1s all day long, and we can sacrifice him to a big enough creature if we have to. But we do run a lot of crackable lands to help him speed up. We do run 2 Fraying Sanities because it pretty much doubles all our mill. At the end of the enchanted player's turn, you add up any cards put into the graveyard from any means, whether it will be discarded, destroyed creatures, mill. You add that all up and make the mill that much, so it really does push your deck a little bit more. We do run the new Scheming Symmetry from Core 2020. It's a 1 mana tutor but with a weird twist on it. You choose 2 target players, so in Modern, us and our opponent. Each player searches the library, puts a card on top. Now, at 1 mana, you getting a card is great, but giving your opponent a card, that's dangerous. But in a mill deck, no problem for us. Just make sure if you do use it to get out key pieces from your deck, make sure you have a mill card ready to go, because you don't want to give your opponent that card they've just tutored for. We do run a playset of Visions of Beyond, because at 1 mana, draw 1 card is okay, it's a cantrip, but if a graveyard has 20 more cards in it, draw 3 cards instead. It is a modern mill ancestral recall for us. It's very good. We do run 4 Thought Seizers. They are kind of expensive, but early game being able to attack our opponent's hand, remove any key pieces or protection they might have is very vital. And of course, Surgical Extraction. Any mill deck worth its salt will have this. At 1 black mana Fraying, or 2 life, you can just choose target card in an opponent's graveyard other than a basic land card. You search the graveyard, the hand, the library for any number of copies of it, just remove them from the game. Every deck has a game plan, every deck has key cards, just target those, and some people might just scoop on the spot when you do that, because they know once those are gone, they probably can't do it. We do run 2 Fatal Pushes, but we have more on Sideboard later on, just really good creature removal, and we can trigger Revolt really easy in our deck with all our fetch lands. Missions Briefing, now this is a spicy card. It's your budget Snapcaster Mage because it's double blue, you surveil 2 at instant speed, and then you choose an instant sorcery in your graveyard, you may cast it this turn, if it be cast, exile it instead. So it's kind of like Flashback Nearly, but you can use it for the majority of the deck, all our mill cards mainly, just to get a little bit further value. But the big spicy I want to go for is Archive Trap, because its reduction ability still works in the graveyard. So if you've used Scheming Symmetry, or your opponent's cracked a fetch land or something this turn, you use Missions Briefing, then you can just Archive Trap them for 0, make them mill another 13. If you time it right, you can cast double Archive Trap for no mana. You can mill them for 26 cards all up, just by casting 1 Missions Briefing. That is really good. As for lands, we run 4 Polluted Deltas because thins down our deck and gets more triggers for our landfall for our crab. We run 4 Field of Ruins because, again, landfall. We can target our opponent's non-basic lands, mainly for Tron or try and get people off certain colours, and it thins down our deck as well. We run Orobo, the Palace in the Clouds, because it has that built-in bounce ability, again for landfall for our crab. And we do run 2 Shell Dock Isles. When it comes into play, you use Hideaway, so you look up 4 cards in your library, you find something cool, hide it away underneath, and then for 1 mana, if a library has 20 or less cards in it, you just may pay 1, tap it, and you can play that card without paying its mana cost. So you can maybe hide an Archive Trap under there, Glimpse Unthinkable, that last finishing spell you might need to get them. As for normal colours, we do run 4 Watery Graves, and we run 3 Swamps and 3 Islands. Now to the sideboard, we do run 2 more Fatal Pushes for more creature removal, we do run 2 Dismembers. You will probably pay the Phyrexian life on this just to keep mana up for your mill spells. We do run 2 Plague Engineers to fight all those tribal decks, mainly for Goblins, Elves and Merfolk, just nuke those creatures into the ground. I do like to run 2 Cyclonic Rifts because I use it for my non-creature removal. Black-Blue doesn't hit Planeswalkers, Artifacts, Enchantments too well, so having something to just target anything's handy. Plus, if you do get the overload cost mid to late game, you can nuke the whole board. You'll probably win at that point. And we do run Dampening Sphere to fight those greedy land bases and Storm players. Storm and Trom, that's the main targets. We do run Ravenous Traps because if someone's milled 3 or more cards in a turn, you can just pay it for 0 to nuke their entire graveyard. Good for all the graveyard decks that are still around, but they've kind of gone out of favor, I think, with Holgat getting a huge clapping in the cheek. We do run 2 Mana Leaks, just a bit of generic counterspell for protection for yourself, and 1 Cryptid Incursion for a bit of life gain when you need it. Here's the deck list on the side here. You can see 39 non-lands, and we run 21 lands all up, and we have our 15 card sideboard. I think it's a pretty quick deck. When you think about it, most decks are 60 cards, most people will keep a hand of 7 or about that, and they're down to 53 cards already. Like, 53 cards for mill, that's nothing, you're going to go through that pretty quick. I love that it's a deck that attacks a hand and the library at the same time, you're removing their resources, the key pieces. If you get Surgical Extraction off, you just start ripping the game plan apart. You just pull everything from them. I think it's fun. As long as your opponent themselves doesn't have hexproof or they're countering everything, there's not too much they can do against mill itself. It's very hard to interact with it. But overall, I think the deck's quick. It's got good removal and counters built in. I think it's solid, it's got a good game plan. It's got a couple combos chucked in there for a bit of fun. So let me know your thoughts, guys. What upgrades would you like to see? There are upgrades that you can do for it, like Snap Custom Age over Missions Briefing would be a good one because it's actual blocker too. But the price upgrade, is it worth it for the slight difference maybe? But yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys, and have a good one. Catch you later. Alrighty, it's that time of the video where we can do a bit of a shameless plug. So thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, please sub and like. It really does help the channel's analytics out a lot. Maybe consider joining me on my other social platforms, where you can talk about anything and everything Magic related. And special thank you to our patrons. They make the channel what it is. These guys are the building blocks for Mana Down Under. They support the channel in many ways. And if you'd be interested in supporting the channel, links are down below and at the end of the video. Thank you, guys.